welcome back to the channel. After last episode of doing body filler, it's more of the same. We're going to finish off those last little sections, give them a little skim, and then I really want to get the thing in high fill. I've been saying this for weeks, but it's so close. So that's the aim, is to get it into 2K high fill and start prepping it for final base coat. So let's get into it. Right, so before we jump in to the booth, I just thought I'd show the old hoodie. I decided to order a sample just to see what the quality was like, because I'm getting them through Teespring, so it's all basically drop ship from wherever they're doing it. And yeah, so this is it. I'm going to order a couple more and see what the quality's like on those. But yeah, I mean, they're 80% cotton, so you can use them in the workshop, and you're not going to explode in a bloody fireball straight away, at least anyway. So yeah, pretty happy with them. So anyway, I'm going to get stuck into it now, so let's go. All right, so after the last episode, I mentioned that this section's pretty good, but this section requires some more work, so I'm going to probably start on this. Give this another bit of filler, sand it back first, give it some filler. One thing I have actually forgotten about entirely is the Firewall. I don't even know if I bother, to be honest. People they call it shaving it, where you put filler in and tidy up all these sections here, so it's nice and clean in the Firewall. But I really don't know if I'll bother. I like the fact that you can see the spot welds and stuff through here. It makes it more mechanical. It's not due to lack of work. As you know, I'm not scared of doing things the hard way, so it's more just the fact that I don't mind it. I don't mind the spot welds. Seeing all that, I think it gives it a more of a raw feel of the engineering back in the days, you know. Those holes that are already there from previous attachments and things like that. It's impossible to know. I didn't really take notice to what kind of holes were what, so that could come back to bite me. But yeah, I'll probably just end up drilling in there anyway, so it's not the end of the world. Probably going to have to do another little bit of filler on this panel here. I've still got to sand these back, and I've still got to do a little bit of sanding on this door, just little areas down on the sill and just there. So set up a time lapse and we'll get into it. So I've just come to the realisation, I was sanding this body filler off, and I've realised it was sort of coming off differently than the rest of the body filler on the doors. And I just realised it's because I didn't scuff the epoxy before I put it on. So, see that? So it's got some adhesion, but it shouldn't be coming off like that. Like on the door, if I was to do that, I literally can't even get any purchase on it. But that's because it's smooth. It's just flaking off. So given some time, yeah, that will start to, I'd imagine, pull away. And yeah, in 5 years' time, or even a couple of years' time, who knows, you better bubble in your paint. So it's all going to have to come off, which is a pain in the ass, but all this is the same. So I'm just going to take it off. It's going to set me back. I'm not even going to record it because, yeah, it's just going backwards. So going to get it all off each guard, start again.
24 hours later.
All right, so I've come to a bit of an issue. I've been trying to hammer and dolly this back in a little bit because it was sitting out, and then I realised that it's actually tin canning. So it's too far out this way and sinking too far in the other way. So I'm going to try and do what I did a few episodes ago, well, many episodes ago, and that was heat it. And I don't have an oxy torch, so I'm going to use a butane torch, the same principle. See if I can just shrink this metal a bit, tighten it back up, and then get it to the level that I want it, and then I'll apply body filler over that. So I'll give that a go. All right, so I've spent a fair bit of time and on the heat shrinking, and I've managed to get rid of that tin canning, but at the expense of a lot of hammer and dolly work. And so that panel looks a bit like a dog's breakfast at the bottom. It's got a low here, and that's where that shroud comes on the rear of it. So I can't get the hammer and dolly. The only way to do that would be to get the welder and do a couple of spots and do the pulley hammer there. So, but the main thing is this is now sitting flush with that side coming down there. It's not concaving in anymore. There was a huge hole in there before. It was either going right in or coming right out. So the steel's hardened now. It's not tin canning, and it's sitting at a nice level in between where it was before and coming out and coming in. So then the rest will just be ironed out with the body filler. I might see if I can just pull this section up here first and then put the body filler in, because yeah, it's probably a little bit too deep there. But the rest of it is just undulations and a lot of hammer and dolly work to get it back to where it should be. So yeah, not the prettiest in the world, but once again, it's going to be functional and it's going to be hard steel. So that's really all I wanted to make sure it was correct, so that will sit flush with the door, and also not tin can once it's on. So I'm going to move on now to fixing that low, and then we'll put some body filler in. Okay, so I'm really happy with both guards. I've body fillered both weld marks right out. It's actually really, really nice on both guards now, so couldn't be happy with that. As you can see, I've sort of gone through to a couple of bare metal areas, and I did some research to find if you can do 2K over bare metal, 2K primer. Most people say they have done that, and some say they like to do another stage of epoxy. It's becoming a bit of a headache to try and recoat everything in epoxy when you're blowing through the metal all the time. So I'm just going to leave it, and obviously it's fresh metal, so it's not flash rusting or anything like that. And I have read that you can put 2K filler primer over that, those areas, and the whole thing. I'm going to scuff all the epoxy back to probably about 180. And then this is the other guard. So yeah, this was the section that I hammered and dollied. There's about three different trials of body filler there to get it nice and even. I've run some body fill up here at the moment, but I'm not too sure whether I'll get rid of this or not, just to sort of smooth out. There's a bit of hammer and dolly work there. And I'll go over that with high fill, and might even just touch this little section up here as well before I do that. But yeah, all the other sections are really nice. So I finished this with 80 grit, and I'm just going to go over on the orbital sander now. I'm going to put a 180 grit pad on this, because you want to get those 80 grit scratches out, even though you don't think you can see them. They're there. So run over it with 180. That's what I've researched. And then it should be right to go for high build primer. So I'm going to do these two guards, and that will be my test case. It's pretty cold at the moment, so I probably shouldn't even really be spraying, but I know it's a chemical reaction. So I'm just going to do the two guards, see how they turn out. And then next week, I'm going to finish the body of the shell off, because I'm having an issue with this door. So The filler's pretty much done. I've got a couple of little section lows there that I was fixing up. I've got to do a final sand. But there's one big giant skin over that. It's not very deep, but it's just wanted to get a nice even coverage because that door had a lot of undulations from that seam line. So yeah, it took a little bit to get nice. So, but what's happening is because of the I've still got to sand all this, by the way. So what's happened is it's dropped over the course of sanding it. It's dropped down, and what I reckon it is, I've been having a problem with this door the whole time, and I think it's because these hinge pins are worn. Yeah, so the hinges have 2 pins in them. There's 2 pins here, and there's actually one down here, and they have a brass bush or a plastic bush inside that actually creates that tight sort of feel in that pin. So over time, I haven't changed these, so that's probably worn out, and that could result in like a 1 or 2 mil play here and maybe a 5 mil play by the time it gets down there. So I've ordered some replacement brass bushes because they're a bit better. I think they're quite tight to fit in. But what I'm going to do until I do final fitment, I just can't get it right. The gaps right over time. Like as you saw the other day, it was fine. The gaps were good. But then as I've been working on it, it's dropped down again. So in order to get it really, really strong without any play, and when I take this door out, I can actually just feel those 2 pins. There's a little bit of play in them. So assuming it's just worn bushes, so I'm going to replace them on both doors. The kit is online on eBay. I think it was about 18 or 20 bucks per set for each door. Alternatively, you can repair the whole hinge with the spring as well, but I don't particularly want to do that. Or you can buy the whole brand new hinge, but they're about $140. You might as well just replace the bushes to get the same result. Yeah, so a lot of work. As you all know, these rear quarters have been finished for a while. It's more or less just these doors that have been requiring a huge amount of work. Right now, I'm going to get it stuck into these guards, give them a 180, get the high build on, and job done. So pretty much ready to go. I've got these 2 guards set up in my little crude guard holder. The booth's probably less than ideal. I've given it a good clean, but there is definitely some dust. I'm just going to take it easy. I've covered up the ute, but I will be obviously washing that back and sanding that in preparation for high fill when I get around to it. So I'm just going to give this a prep wash and yeah, pretty much hook in. So I bought this a while ago. This is a Lessenol 2K Primer 480. It's a 4-to-1 mix for a high build. You can actually do a normal primer mix, which is, I think you just add thinners into it, 4-to-1 and then 1 or something. So yeah, I'm doing the high build, so it's 4-to-1. I'm putting a 1.7 tip on. Now, I couldn't find the tech specs for Lessenol, but I know a high build, you'd want something bigger than a 1.4, which I've currently got. I think 2 might be too big, so I thought I'd sit in the middle at around about 1.7, and we'll see how that goes. I don't have a 1.8, I only come with a 1.7, so I'm going to use that and see how we go. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to suit up, glove up, mask up, and prep wash this, and then yeah, I'm going to do 4 heavy coats. So I'll do 2 coats, 10 minutes in between, and then I'll do another 2. Temperature's not entirely warm, but it's not the coldest of days. So we'll see how this settles in, And then it's probably a good test case before I hook into the main body, just in case anything goes south. And then I'll know exactly what I did wrong. So really happy with the guards though. They're going to come out really nice once this high build's on. So anyway, enough talking. Let's go. All right, so that's done. 2 guards in high fill. All in all, I'm pretty happy with the outcome. It's a little bit orange peely, but obviously you sand it back with your finer grits to get rid of that, and slowly but surely get it even. There's a few little spatter marks. Unfortunately, the gun was doing a bit of like spluttering, which isn't ideal, and it wasn't giving it an even coverage. So I don't know why that was, whether there was some vapor in the line or some gunk in the paint that wasn't filtered out, because I didn't have a filter, so it's probably my fault there. But I gave it 4 or 5 coats actually in the end, just to try and even out that spluttering. So yeah, overall I'm pretty happy with the way that the repairs have come out. They're not perfect. I've seen there's seems to be a little bit of a line there. I can't really remember fixing that or doing a repair there, but there must be a slight rise in body filler there. So that's one mark that I can see. The repair down here is pretty good. I can see slight little area there. I reckon those, I'm not too sure. Leave a comment. I'll probably have to just sand that back and then just apply some touch-up filler. I guess that's the way you tackle that, and then reapply the high fill over the top. This section down here is, I can't picture or pick any flaws in that. The light's not fantastic. You can see there's a bit of a patch there. It's splattered out. But all in all, I mean, for an eBay gun, that wasn't too bad. But yeah, as I said, it was giving a fair old splutter. So there's some marks on it here and there. Seems to be a little low there, which is annoying. You can't see this stuff and also slight low there. Although I think that might be some body filler, because there was a repair there. So yeah, it's certainly not perfect. And you're putting in your base coat, you're going to see all this stuff. So I'm going to have to continue to refine that and sand them back. But overall, the major areas are pretty good. This lower areas, was heavily repaired, and yeah, it's come out really, really nice. I can't see any undulations there. So there's a slight little mark here that I'll have to put some filler in. But in general, that lower half is fine. It's really just up here. You get a couple of little lows just there. So not the end of the world. I guess I can just, touch them up and reapply some high fill when I do the body, which will be next week. But it's a good test case. It's dried fine in this cooler weather. The only thing I could fault is the gun. So I'm going to give it another test, and I might just buy another gun and give it a run. I'll give it a good clean and try a filter next time. That's it. Next we'll be finishing off these little sections, getting the door hinges, hanging the doors with the new bushes, and then putting this in high fill. All right, just wanted to give a quick update on the engine. So I got a confirmation from Tony that the engine has arrived, or the engine block has arrived. Luke is dropping off the stroker kit. So I'm going to talk to Tony as to what his schedule's like and how that's going to be put into it in the upcoming weeks and potentially when it's going to be finished. So I've got a few things that I'm going to have to buy additionally to get the thing running. Pacemaker extractors, the Brawler carby. I was thinking of going a EFI Holly Sniper. Expense versus reliability. This could be a whole other episode, and it probably will be down the track. I know I've spoken to a few people about EFI, running EFI instead of the old mechanical carbies. Definitely bonuses and benefits of the EFI versus the mechanical carby, but yeah, they're prohibitively expensive. $1,800 for a Holy Sniper as opposed to around about $750 for a this, I think, was the Brawler carby, which I was going to get. But the beauty of that Holy Sniper is you can run a LED dash, Holly LED Pro Dash, which does all those gauges and things directly from the sniper unit itself. So it could be some really cool stuff that you could do with that. I'm going to be doing a sort of retro mod LED dash in replacement of the old gauges. Just something that's going to be a little bit fun and will save me wiring up all those gauges again. So that's down the track, but looking forward to actually doing that. It should be a fun build. Another thing I would like to do a shout out for another channel. It's called The Defender Diaries. It's hosted by Dominique Chalier, and I did an interview a few weeks ago on that channel, and she's running through a series of interviews with like-minded people that are doing restorations around Victoria, and it's a great channel, so I just wanted to give it a shout out. Jump on and have a look. It's a good series. So as per usual, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. If you want to check out in between episodes, jump on my Instagram at Barnsies_builds, and you can see all the in between stuff that I'm getting up to before each episode. So until next episode, take care, and I'll see you then.